Hello. Today is Monday. I decided that I would do the topic for this week and record it today because as I get older and I have something set in my mind, I need to go ahead and put it on video, or sometimes by Thursday I might forget it. So my topic for today, I've struggled to come up with a name for it because it's hard to describe. So for right now, I'm just going to say the other boats. You'll understand what I'm talking about here in a minute. You see, I have a wonderful church family, and our minister is so very good to each and every one of us. Right now, we are going through a Bible study where we're reading through the New Testament. Over the next 6 months, we will read the whole New Testament. So each week, we probably read 10 to 15 chapters of the Bible, and then on Wednesday mornings or Wednesday afternoons, we discuss it. And each Sunday, our minister gleans some of the scripture that we have read the week prior and makes a sermon out of it. Now, these sermons stand alone. You don't have to be going to this Bible study, but it sure does help. Especially these last 3 weeks, I feel like that God has specifically been talking to me. And it's a good thing. It's the reason I'm back on this YouTube channel. It gave me encouragement enough to start the channel again because I realized I was being way too selfish. And that's where yesterday's scripture caught me. You see, yesterday's scripture came from the book of Mark, the 4th chapter, and it involved verses 35 through 41. It's a very familiar passage. If you're familiar with the Bible, you know how Jesus got on the boat a lot and went back and forth between one coast and another coast of the Sea of Galilee. Well, this was one of those times. And the part of the scripture that I didn't even remember was the part that the minister talked about yesterday. Yes, when I was reading it about 8 or 10 days ago, it jumped out at me too. So that's why I thought, oh, this scripture is just for me. Because in the 36th verse of chapter 4, it was talking about how Jesus and the disciples were getting on the boat and they were going to go to the other side. But then in that 36th verse, it said, and there were other boats with them. I never remembered reading that there were other boats with them. I always thought it was just that one boat with the 12 disciples and Jesus. But now I knew that there were other boats. We don't know how many, but it didn't say other boat. It said boats. So there was more than one, possibly not more than 4 or 5. But these were people that had followed Jesus not only on foot, but they had gotten in their boats and they were following them on the Sea of Galilee also. Now, Jesus gets in the back of the boat and falls asleep on a cushion. And then before you know it, a fierce storm erupts on the Sea of Galilee. The Sea of Galilee is not all that wide, but it could have fierce, terribly frightening storms that could occur in no time flat. The wind came up and blew everywhere, and the water was so bad that the disciples thought that the boat was going to capsize. You see, more than likely, the boat that they were in was a fishing boat. And a fishing boat at that time was no more than about 4 or 5 feet wide, 5 feet wide at the most, and about 12 feet long. So it was pretty filled up with those 13 people. And I'm sure they were all afraid that they were about to die, because one of the disciples goes to the back of the boat and wakes up Jesus and says, "Lord, aren't you afraid? Don't you think we're all going to die?" Jesus wakes up, looks around and surveys the situation, and he says, "Oh me, here I am again, gonna have to do it again." I'm sure he probably got tired of doing that, but it didn't stop him. He stood up, possibly raised his hand. That's not in Scripture, but he did it in other times, and said, "Peace, be still." And with those 3 words, the storm stopped. The wind died down, and the water became calm. The disciples no longer thought they were fixing to die. But you know what? The people in those other boats saw it too. They didn't hear what Jesus had to say, but they were out there because of him. They were followers of him, and they saw him stand up, possibly raise his hand, and all of a sudden the storm stopped. And when I was hearing this story about the other boats, I realized that the others, in my case, were you. You know, I've been so self-consumed with my problems, with my sorrow, with my sadness, that I have forgotten about you. And I know all of you out there have some kind of struggle. It wouldn't be life if you didn't. It may not just be about your weight. You may be going through a sadness like I am, or a loss of some sort, or a big change in your life. And so today's video, well, while it is encouraging, I want you to make me understand what you're going through. And there's 3 ways that you can. Obviously, you can leave a comment below and tell me what you're going through right now, the struggle that you're facing. Or down in my description box, I list not only my email address, but my regular mailing address too. So that's the 3 ways you can contact me: with a comment below, through my email, or sending me a letter via the post office. I hope that you will share with me what your struggle is, so that I won't be so consumed with my own struggle. You see, you're the other boats in my life. Now, I don't want you to think I think I'm Jesus. I don't. But I do think that you can see Jesus through me. Many times I've been told not to hide my light under a bushel basket. And that light is the light of Jesus. And I know I'm not talking much about weight this week, but there is a correlation with it. Because I know that over these years, that's what's got me through. That I am sitting here today weighing in at 125.6 this morning, because mainly 2 things. First, it's obviously Weight Watchers. Weight Watchers has given me the tools to where I can be successful and maintain a healthy weight. But you see, Jesus is who led me to Weight Watchers. I would have never come this route had I not been praying about it and asking for his guidance. And he guided me to Weight Watchers. I believe it with all my heart. I've said that many times on these videos, and I mean it each time. So this week, my encouragement, and it's encouragement to me too, this life is not all about me. It's about you too. And I need to know what your struggles are, or I would love to know your victories this week. If you have victories, please share it with us down in the comments. I'll probably make another video on Thursday. Not sure when I'm going to post this one. It may be posted on Thursday, but if not, I hope that I'll be down just a little bit more by the time I weigh in on Thursday. But for now, God bless each and every one of you. Goodbye.